Hi and welcome to Conversations with Robyn. Today's program was filmed at one of our first live filmings. It features a number of amazing guests, so please sit back and enjoy. Welcome, Paul. Have a seat. Have a seat. All right. So 20 years in the luxury car dealership business.
Yes.
What was your favourite quote?
I always say to people, making a lot of money was the most expensive thing I ever did. Yeah.
Want to say that again?
Making a lot of money was the most expensive thing I ever did.
It's an amazing quote, isn't it? And don't you sort of think about that one? So what happened for you after 20 years and, you know, obviously a very successful money-making career, which you obviously must have enjoyed? Where was the change around for you? Because Paul now has, he's the founder of Temple Byron in Byron Bay, amazing place, amazing astrologer. So from, you know, a guy that was very left brain in the, I'm not saying anything wrong with materialism, I don't mean that, but a very left brain material lifestyle to a very right brain lifestyle of service. What was the change for you? Well,
I had some major events happen in my life around 10 years ago after being in the motor trade for 20 odd years. While I was in the motor trade, I was also playing flamenco guitar in a flamenco show every weekend and doing the car thing during the week. And I just go to work like a robot. Go to breakfast every morning, go to work, do the same thing, selling expensive motor cars to wealthy people, and it was basically material based and very egotistical and feeding people's egos. It was great, it was exciting, it was a great business, but there was always a feeling of something missing. Similar to what Louise was talking in the beginning, there was something missing. There was no contribution being made, as if I had some sort of ability that I wasn't using. So I had some radical things happen to me in a period of 1 week. Some major things happened in a short amount of time, and the universe gave me some clear messages of what I was meant to do and what I'm certainly not meant to do. And that's how it started. I didn't have much choice.
It was a big message, huh?
It was a big message. In fact, well, yeah, I was brought to my knees, literally. I was actually crippled, so yeah, it's not a matter of not listening. It was screaming at me. Okay. That's when it changed, yeah.
So an amazing journey, and as I say, one of your amazing gifts now is as an astrologer. So in having Paul here tonight, I'd like Paul to share with us kind of like where we're at the moment, because we know there's some really heavy-duty energies happening on our planet. We know that we're raising in consciousness. We know that a lot of things that aren't serving us are going out the window. Can you give us a sense of what's happening and why, and some hope for some people? Because I know some people have really been brought to their knees.
Absolutely. Look, I started studying astrology to actually find some answers to my own situation, my own life. But then I discovered it's an amazing, it's an ancient tool of understanding. Originally, we all used to follow the planets and plant our crops by the planets and the stars, and we sort of lost touch with that over the centuries. But globally, collectively speaking, with the astrological transits that are happening at the moment, for instance, there's one main one, the planet Pluto changing signs, going to the sign of Capricorn from Sagittarius. Now, Pluto in Capricorn happens once every 220 years. That's happened in the last, basically the last year and a half. That's been happening for us collectively.
So what's Pluto and what's Cap?
Okay, Capricorn basically rules business, amongst other things in astrology, and Pluto, of course, is the planet of total transformation. In ancient Vedic astrology, it's the snake that sheds its skin. In other words, the old skin dies off in order for the new life to be reborn. So it's the saying for Pluto is Phoenix rises from the ashes. So the last time we had Pluto in Capricorn, we had the Industrial Revolution. Okay. And of course, you can see what's happening now economically. It's there's a lot of similarities. The global economical world order is changing, and a lot of things are being accounted for. And Pluto in Capricorn was always foreseen as a time when there'll be radical changes to the business world. Not only the business world, but that's how it's basically started and manifest.
Okay, so how long is that transit going on for?
Well, Pluto will stay in Capricorn for 14 years. It'll be in Capricorn until 2023, but it's just gone in now. Okay. And when a planet changes signs, they always say that it's quite a powerful time. So you can see Pluto went into Capricorn, and straight away we've had some major adjustments worldwide. There are obviously other transits happening at the moment. This is a very powerful time. I've been studying astrology for a long, long time, and and with what's coming up for all of us, and when I'm talking about not each person with their star signs, I'm talking about collectively and globally.
Yep.
There are transits happening in the sky now that are about real change. And Pluto going to Capricorn is one of them. Of course, the other one, the planet Saturn, is exactly opposite the planet Uranus. Well, Saturn represents the old.
Yep.
Uranus represents the new. They're in total opposition. The last time we had that was the middle 60s. The flower power, the hippie movement,
Yep.
non-conformity, change.
Yep.
So-called age of Aquarius, when it all started heating up. And that's peaking at the moment. It will do for the next year or two, especially into next year. I think next year is going to be a powerful time with some of the alignments happening to all of us, a powerful time of change. And I think what's happening economically is only the beginning of it.
Okay, so what's been happening personally for people over the last, 6, 12, 18 months? Because there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
And it's painful.
Every person, of course, has an individual birth chart. Really, no two charts are really the same. And the planets do affect us. I mean, it's common knowledge that when you get a full moon, any police station or any hospital will tell you on a full moon, that's their busiest time.
Yep.
The term lunatic comes from people getting a bit emotional when it's a full moon. When a woman has a menstrual cycle, fluid levels change, women become emotional. It's a scientific fact.
Yep.
Well, if we know that on full moon that we have a high tide, scientific fact. Well, if the moon can affect us emotionally, why wouldn't Jupiter? It's 100 something times bigger than the moon. So all these planets do affect us. It's just that we don't tune into them these days. So at the moment, with the alignments that are happening in the sky at the moment, globally, there's a lot of pressure on people to become their authentic selves and to rise above a lot of the external battles and the battles of the ego, to get back into more into the heart, less into the mind. Because what a lot of us are doing, and not only through astrology, we're in such a hurry. This is so-called the time of the quickening. A lot of the old prophets, let alone even in the Bible, and a lot of the religious doctrines will tell you this is the time of the quickening. This is the time when things are speeding up. The Mayan calendar getting towards 2012, supposedly a time of the dawning of a new age of consciousness. On many different levels, people are feeling that things are changing. It's time to start being our real true selves and using our power and utilise our potential. And basically that's what the birth chart, the astrological chart, everyone has an individual chart, and it's about, that's the soul's journey, that's the potential for that soul in this lifetime. Now, of course, we're all totally responsible for the choices we make. So I tell people often when I'm doing a reading, I can tell you the potential of your journey over the next 1 or 2 decades. But you can not look where you're going when you're crossing the road and get hit by a bus, and you've got to come back and do it again because you made a bad choice not looking where you're going.
Yeah. So it always comes back to personal
Absolutely.
choice, doesn't it?
Nothing is set in stone.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think that astrology, it's all a little bit witchy, and it's all about prediction. Sure, there is prediction in terms of the time frames of what things can happen and how they can happen in what areas of your life. Sure, that can be very accurate, sometimes even pinpoint to the day, and I've experienced it personally many times. But overall, we're responsible for our own choices. So these transits are about getting people to wake up and to start to open the heart, because the spiritual path is quite simple. It's about opening the heart and letting the mind become a tool